Our interest is for the American people to hear it from him. There's been a campaign of misrepresentation by Attorney General Barr.
It is case closed for me, so they can do anything they want to in the House, and I think it'll blow up in their face.
Well, Fox News alert, we've told you former special counsel Robert Mueller has agreed to testify before both the House Judiciary and Intelligence Committees next month. But what will we actually learn from the hearing? Here now to debate it is Trump Campaign Advisory Board member Madison Gesiotto and Democratic strategist Kevin Walling. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Heather, Madison, good morning.
With you, Heather. So Mueller was subpoenaed. They said they would do it, and he has now agreed to testify. It's going to happen July 17th. But he's also said, Madison, I'll start with you, that the report speaks for itself and that he will not go beyond the four corners included in the 400-plus pages. So why are we doing this?
And exactly. And what he said specifically when he spoke publicly was the report is my testimony. So I think when we actually get down to when he testifies on Capitol Hill, we may ultimately see him recite passages directly from his report, just read them from the report. So I don't know how much new we're going to find out, but I ultimately think this could potentially backfire on Democrats who think that they may reveal information that would hurt the president. In reality, this may ultimately be an opportunity for Republican members of the House to ask questions about potential FISA court abuses, the start of this investigation, and so much more that many people across this country have been concerned about.
Yeah, Kevin, what do you think about that? Or are you concerned that this could end up benefiting Republicans because they have questions too?
Yeah, Heather, to Madison's point, I think it's a great thing that the special counsel is coming before the American people. You know, I'll note that the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, Doug Collins from Virginia, requested that he be subpoenaed to come before and answer these questions. To Madison's point, I think Republicans want some answers in terms of the origins of this report, and this gives them the opportunity to ask those questions. But anytime you have a person like this in this kind of capacity coming before the American people in an open setting, I think it's going to be a good thing for both parties and for the American people.
There is precedent for it with special counsel Ken Starr at the time in the late 1990s dealing with Clinton. But at the same time, people have said they want our leaders to move beyond this now, if you take a look at poll after poll. So, Madison, do you think in terms of that, you know, the amount of money that's being spent on this, that will hurt Democrats?
Well, I think there's still a lot of unanswered questions, as I mentioned before, in regards to the start of this investigation, in regards to FISA court potential abuses. But at the same time, when it comes to the Mueller report, it comes to the investigation, Senator Lindsey Graham did a great job of asking very pointed questions, talking about, Robert Mueller, did you have all the information you needed? You're talking to Barr in some of those hearings as well. And so a lot of these questions have been answered when it comes to we've spent tens of millions of dollars, millions of documents. I don't think there was any obstruction. I don't think that there was any attempt to block this investigation. They had everything and more that they needed. I think we definitely need to move on at this point.
Yeah, let's move on to our second topic, and I'll let you respond first to this. In terms of the debate that's coming up tonight, the first GOP debate back in 2015, we know that the issues were Iran, abortion, and immigration. Those dominated the conversation. So do you think that these will be the hot topics this time around as well, Kevin?
Yeah, what's old is new again, right? So we're back where we started with regards to Iran and a potential conflict in the Middle East. I think the health care debate is an important one. We saw how important it was to the American people back in the midterm elections. 40% of those folks that turned out in the midterm elections said health care was their #1 issue. And while, it's important to have these debates, I'll note that, under the Trump administration, over 1 million people have lost their health insurance. And I'm happy to have that debate, whether it be the public option, whether it be Medicare for all, and to have a really substantive debate here tonight in Miami and tomorrow in Miami as well.
But healthcare not in the top 3. It actually comes in number 4, Medicare for all implementation anyway. We can bring all those topics up for you. This is the top 8, what Democrats want to hear. And topping the list, I don't know if this is surprising to either of you, 63% want to talk about climate change, 62% gun policy, and then 60% the recent abortion bills. Madison?
I think we're going to hear a lot of the topics that we heard back in 2015 hit on again, but I also think we're going to hear things like the Me Too movement, things like a lot of these socialist policies that have been put forward. There are a lot of Democrats out there, and of course Republicans as well, that are concerned about the national debt and deficits that are rising. They want to talk about how they're going to be able to implement these policies Democrats are proposing without continuing to see this economic irresponsibility on behalf of our Congress.
Kevin, let's take a look at the bottom 8 topics that Democrats want, apparently, and your response to this. Criminal justice reform comes in first at 45%. Donald Trump, 44%. And then student loan debt, which we've heard a lot about. I'm surprised, though, that the border there, the U.S.-Mexico border wall, only 25%.
Yeah, it is interesting. You know, I think there's a hunger on our side, at least, to move past Donald Trump to actually talk about substantial issues, right, and not get bogged down with a back and forth with this president, but to actually talk about trade policy, for example, that is on that list, where people in middle America are being decimated. Farmers, dairy farmers, folks that are tilling the soil for soybeans are being just decimated by this trade policy, whether it be this new NAFTA agreement or these unnecessary fights with China.
Yeah.
But again, I think focusing the fight on actually substantial issues is what's going to win the day, and not talking about Donald Trump.
Yeah, the only foreign policy issue that made the list of the top 8 topics was relations with Iran. So we'll see what happens tonight, if anyone stands out as we move forward. Thank you, Madison and Kevin. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
Have a good day.